What's up, everybody? HOA MMA is back. AJ, how are you doing this week, man?
Tired, bro. It's been a
Yeah.
long week, but we got some good fights to talk about and some great fights to look forward to, man.
Yeah, this has been quite the couple weeks for the UFC most recently. Big event last weekend. That was a crazy fight night. Really solid fights all around. We had a pretty important contenders match that doesn't really matter right now because the person that won isn't going to fight the champion. But we'll definitely touch on that as we go along. And then this weekend, we've got a mega fight. We've got Usman. We've got Edwards. We're going to get into that in a little bit later also. Big week for MMA in general. We're going to start off at the top. Let's go back over the fight night last weekend. What stood out to you? What was your fight of the night last weekend?
Well, before I even go into that, did you like the fact that it was in in the Vegas hotel? Didn't it remind you of very old school, tough UFC days?
Yeah,
just,
it had
the crowd.
It had the Hard Rock Cafe vibe.
Yeah,
they used to have back in the day when they used to fight. Like I remember watching Anderson Silva fight Chris Lieben in the Hard Rock Cafe type venue, and it gave that same vibe. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed that. It felt very intimate, like the crowd was right there, and that was a cool feeling.
And the crowd was really getting into it. You can really feel they were properly getting really into it. It sounded very it brought like you said, it brought a very old school kind of early 2000 vibe to it.
And I don't know why it felt different. Like the fighters on the big card still come down in between fans, but for some reason it felt like they were even closer because the fighters were I don't know, everybody was getting a high five, all the fans when they were doing the walk-ins and stuff. Yeah. I don't know why that just felt different.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't know, it didn't feel smaller than usual. It just was a different vibe that worked. I'm not going to call it small time or anything, but it felt cool. It felt like it was a up and coming operation again. I don't know how to say that in a positive way, but it was a positive for me.
Yeah, for sure. But to answer your question, my fight of the night was Martinez against Nurmagomedov. I know we touched on it earlier, last week, how we thought that's going to be the sleeper. Mm-hmm. But that was everything which I thought would go. It was just back and forth, very evenly scored match fighters, just clashing, and it was a very fun fight, literally just from from round one all the way towards the end. It was just a really great fight to see.
And both guys displayed really impressive techniques. Usman, Nurmagomedov, very impressive.
Not Usman, Said.
Sorry, Said. There are so many guys I got them mixed up, but Said showed a lot of a wide array of moves, and Martinez was there for all of it. It was just a back and forth battle, like you said. I thought the unanimous decision for Martinez was an interesting decision. Mm-hmm. I thought it was very close. I don't have any issue with Martinez winning, but I thought unanimous was interesting. I thought Said at least took one round.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with Martinez winning. I thought that was a great fight also. Other things that we looked at, I thought it was impressive. Volkov came out and just absolutely ran house on I mean, is that the best tattoo in mixed martial arts? His back piece?
Is him or Sean Brady? Sean Brady's one on his back as well. That's probably those two.
Those had to hurt so fucking bad. Those looked painful.
And those took days.
Oh gosh, session after session of just work. I was impressed with him. He was came into that as an underdog, and I thought he had a great showing. Let's see. Do you want to get right into it, Merab and Jan? Because that's the
last thing I want to bring up.
Yep, go ahead.
I know it was early on in the fight. It was early on in the card. It wasn't on the main. But David Grant's sub on the Sunset was fucking insane.
Yes.
Fucking insane. That is easily submission of the year front runner for me right now. That was absolutely crazy.
It was 4 minutes and 43 seconds into the final round. He needed it to win. And
he lost the point.
Exactly. That's what I mean, is he needed that choke because he lost the point. He needed that to win that fight, in my opinion. It was that close, and he goes out there and gets it done and sends Rafael into retirement. That's a really big win for Davey Grant. I'm glad you touched on that because he deserves that recognition.
For sure.
I also want to say, if you didn't get to see it, Carl Williams has crazy explosion at heavyweight.
Oh, yeah.
He just all of a sudden just boom, and you are up in the air and on your head. Like some of his takedowns, he had a nice suplex. I just really liked watching him fight with his explosive abilities. But then let's touch on this. Merab versus Peter Yan. Holy shit, Merab. I've never ever seen in my life the kind of pressure, the kind of constant attacking nature of Merab to get a takedown, to be on your bot. Like he's just constantly going at you. 49 takedown attempts is the record by a wide margin. Insane. Like they call him, the machine. He was a machine. What did you think about that performance from Merab?
Like you said, he's just like relentless. Like it's insane. He must have the best cardio, like in the whole like UFC, because that's just like you said, to shoot that many times.
Yeah.
And he literally broke Jan. Like I know, like before, like Jan's had like close losses in his career. This is the first time someone's actually beaten him, and there isn't any debate. There isn't any but this, but that, but like he got robbed by the judges, or he threw like a knee, like he basically got DQ'd. He got beat handedly. It wasn't even close. And Merab just drowned him. He just completely drowned him. I couldn't believe it. And the worst thing is, it wasn't even that he was just taking him down. He was mixing it in, like on the feet. He was giving it to him as well. Like I know that's a case of, because Jan's worrying so much about being taken down, it's giving Merab opportunities to obviously like TT off of him. Because we all know Jan is better on the feet clearly, but he was just like bamboozling him. Like he didn't know what to do. Like that was just an impressive. I know people are going to talk about the takedowns, but just from a full MMA point of view, that was an amazing performance all around.
And like you just said, I was going to point this out also. Merab threw over 401 strikes. 401 strikes compared to Jan's 155. So when you say it was an all-around performance, that was the antithesis of all-around performance. Jan was so worried about getting his leg grabbed and going to the ground and defending a takedown that he got pieced up pretty impressively by Merab also. I do want to say, if you defend 38 takedowns in a fight, you deserve a little bit of credit for your takedown defense, but Merab wiped the floor with him. There was nothing Jan could do with Merab that night. Hell of a night of fights. I mean, Krylov choking out Spann.
That was a crazy one because you thought it was going to be on the feet, and they were just grappling. They were just going full down to the mat.
And it's unfortunate because Spann spun himself into that spot. Like he was doing okay. He scrambled into a bad spot and put himself into jeopardy, which was unfortunate because I thought he was doing all right up until that point. He just overcommitted to that spot, and Krylov wasn't going to let him go. And it's unfortunate for a guy. Like, I feel like at the beginning I didn't care for him because it was clear that he wasn't doing everything it took to be a fighter. And now that we've seen him kind of change his ways and train more and be more involved in fighting, I kind of find myself rooting for him more. But Krylov was just the better guy on that night. And it's just unfortunate when you put yourself in a position to lose. Like that's the kind of hard thing right there. Like obviously Krylov took advantage of it, but I mean at the same time he just put himself too far in and couldn't get back out. No disrespect to Krylov though.
No, 100%. But I feel like it's a game of like it is a game of inches. Like one little mistake, especially when you're fighting at like that high level, that's literally what it takes sometimes. Unfortunately.
I also wanted to shout out on the undercard was Petrino, Brazilian dude. Like, people say people have bad intentions when they like punch. Every single punch he throws is the worst intentions possible. It is to take your head off. Everything is full energy, full power at all times. He had a really impressive takedown that was just something you don't really see from a guy, where he just up and down. And it was, so I do want to shout him out because he's got to figure out a way to conserve energy and not be explosive all the time, but very impressive from him. Let's move on. Top comebacks of all time. Now, just recently, we had probably the best comeback of all time, and that fight's going to be leading our card coming into next week. What other comebacks do you have for us that are some of the all-time great comebacks?
First one, I've got Frank Trigg against Hughes 2.
Matt Hughes.
Matt Hughes. I don't know why I got confused with his name. Yeah, Trigg against Matt Hughes 2.
Okay, I like that one. Okay, what else you got?
Congo against Pat Barry.
Is that the best? Or is that the where Congo knocks him out with the kick? Or what am I thinking of?
Do you know the one when Pat Barry rocks him and he's out on his feet twice? He just drops him, and then all of a sudden, Congo just comes swinging while still clearly out of his head.
Okay. It took me a second. I know exactly what you're talking about because he wins with the TKO, the punches. Okay.
Yeah. I got Stipe against DC2.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yes. That's probably my best champ. That's probably an underrated. That's like a recent underrated comeback, considering DC was just mopping him until the change in round 3, round 4.
My one is UFC 111 or 117. Anderson Silva beats Chael by the submission.
Yeah.
To complete a really crazy comeback because Chael was putting it on him that night. Since you gave another one already, I'm gonna say, just because I'm a WWE fan and all that stuff, Brock coming back against Shane Carwin to beat him by.
Oh yeah, good one.
He was getting beat up on the feet by Carwin.
Carwin was throwing some bombs.
Shane Carwin had some big hands back then, and he beat him with the triangle choke, where Carwin said he didn't tap, but he was done. And it was a great comeback by Brock. Those are some really good ones. What else do you got?
Only other ones I have is Silva against Chael.
Yep, that was
for obvious reasons, you know.
For everything. That was for everything.
Everything. And that was when Silva was the man. That was when he was the man. And you thought that no one could beat him. You thought no one was going to beat him.
That's as close.
Second away.
That is as close as you can be to ever winning the title without winning it. Like, I feel like that's as close as you could ever be.
Literally. And to round it off, I've got the fight that we're probably going to talk about in a minute, but I've got Leon against Usman too.
Okay, so if Anderson had the best comeback submission, this is the best comeback KO of all time.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. He said boom, and then boom with the head kick. Oh my God.
Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Put it out the fire.
That coach's speech oh my God. I got goosebumps right now. Those two were going at it today in the press conference. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I saw a little bit as I was heading back from the gym.
I'm so hyped for that fight. But yes, I mean, the feint into the head kick is the best comeback KO for sure. For sure. That's a hell of a pick. Would you think the Nate Diaz submission on Conor was a comeback? Because I felt like that fight was pretty close, if not Diaz was already winning it. So I wouldn't call that a comeback.
Not really, because
I'm just going through my memory on some of the things that were.
I think because people just say because it was when Conor was at his absolute peak around that time. But if you actually look at the fight, Diaz actually rocked him badly before, and also Conor shot. It wasn't as if Diaz took him down.
Yeah,
Conor actually went for a takedown, and Diaz was like, "Whoa."
That's how you know it was losing. Okay, let's see. All right, let's shift into something else that's kind of been brought up a little bit more recently due to the fact of like teammates that are at the same gym and they won't fight each other when the other one's a champion. How do you feel about that? And does that kind of take away from potentially great fights?
I feel like as a fan, it's probably a little bit frustrating because you want to see the best fight against the best. I do understand when you're training with a person every day and you're seeing them all the time and you're bonding as family, friends, spending all that time with each other. I do understand you develop a sense of like brotherhood or even sisterhood as well. So you do understand if they don't want to fight each other. My only thing is that if it gets to like, I know that the reason why we're talking about it is because of Merab's win, and obviously he's now ranked #1.
Yeah.
Teammate is obviously the champ, and they made it clear that they're not going to fight each other.
No matter what.
My thing is you can't just have Merab just sitting there #1 and just beating everyone else if he does and clearing out every other like contender, because that means Aljo is going to fight what? Rank number 4, 5, 6. Like it doesn't make sense. And I know that Aljo said that I'm going to move up eventually, but I just feel like if that's like a situation where you've got clearly the two best and they're not going to fight each other, either one person has to literally move up or move down. It's very clear, because it isn't fair on everyone else who's trying to make a run at the belt, and they've got one guy who's kind of acting as a champ's bodyguard in a way.
Pretty much, and Dana himself said like Merab is literally costing himself money potentially and bigger opportunities, because at that point you're only fighting guys below you. You're literally not advancing yourself. And like the reason you started fighting was to be the best. Like, could you not fight that guy and both have insane respect for each other and it still not be okay? Like, if you're that close, I feel like you could fight and still be cool at the end of the day. Like, I understand you've gone through so many sparring sessions, you've gone through so many drills together, but like you've got to put it on the line at some point. That takes me back because like this kind of made me think of DC and Cain Velasquez back when DC first became the heavyweight champion, or like when Cain was the heavyweight champion and DC was coming up. They didn't want to fight each other because they were so close to the teammates and stuff like that. It kind of made me think of that because at one point that fight would have been pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So it just made me think back to then.
Well, at least DC moved down. Like when he fought at heavyweight. I think people forget that he moved down to like heavyweight because he didn't want to fight against Cain, which to be fair is fair. Like, if you know that you're not going to fight your teammate who just happens to be the best in the world, then you find in a higher or low weight class makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're both in the same weight class and you're at the top of the tree, it's gonna get messy.
And after seeing Merab put on that clinic against Peter Yan, I want to see how he does against Sterling. Like, can that pace work against a guy as good as Aljo? Could that relentless takedowns work against a better wrestler consistently?
Yeah.
Would a wrestler be as worried on the feet as Peter was against Merab? Like, things like that play into it, and you want to see where this could go with two guys that are that good. That's really the main point of the whole thing, is like we are being deprived of one of the potentially the best matchups at that weight class right now.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have a little bit of fun at your guys' expense here. Rumors are swirling right now. Darren Till could be potentially fighting WWE superstar Logan Paul in a boxing match. Last week, I hinted at this. WWE superstar fighting a former UFC title contender. What do you got to say about this now?
Disclaimer to all of our fans out there. We only talk about real fights. This has nothing to do with me. Do not associate with me whatsoever. I have nothing to do with this. But for the sake of my brother here, I will give my little 5 cents into this, I guess. But sad. Sad, bro. Honestly, we are talking about a former title challenger at welterweight, a guy who was as high as rank 3 at middleweight at one point. This is a guy who gave Robert Whittaker one of his hardest fights ever, and he is gone so far down. He's going to fight Logan Paul.
Yeah, how the mighty have fallen. That is tough.
It's sad.
Okay, question. Put everything else aside. Do you stream it and still watch?
I go to sleep.
Would the fight put you to sleep, or you're just going to be asleep?
I'm just going to go sleep, bro. Honestly, I'll probably watch something else instead.
All right, that's fair. I'm going to watch it just to see if that Darren Hill train keeps going down, and I will report back to you on that, because this has been a crazy downfall.
My phone will be off.
Leave it off for a day or two.
My phone will be on Do Not Disturb. I'll be watching Dune for the 20th time instead.
Hey, that's a hell of a movie. All right, let's get into the next thing. UFC 286 is in your backyard. Big card. A lot of fun here. Let's get into it right away. I'm going to give you guys the card. It's Marvin Vettori is fighting Dolidze. Maya's fighting O'Neal. Gunnar Nelson's fighting Barberena. Justin Gaethje's back in there against how do you say his last name? Fiziev. And then the big one, Leon versus Usman. How do you feel?
I kind of have mixed feelings about it, because I feel like, considering that this is like the first pay-per-view since Bisping against Henderson 2, and they have promised the best card that British MMA fans have ever seen.
Yeah.
I know that we were meant to have Mats against Arnold Allen on that card, and that fell off because I think Allen got injured, so he got pushed back to the fight in a few weeks' time. And we also were going to have Lerone Murphy against Nathaniel Wood, which is 2 Brits at featherweight, which would have been an absolute barn burner. It was going to be amazing. So in terms of, like, for me, for someone who's obviously, clearly, I'm obviously, it's obviously in my backyard and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the more like homegrown talent as I would like. There's a lot more down, like further down if you actually look at it. But overall, it's still a great card. Every single fight on the main card is going to be entertaining and competitive, and especially the co-main. Like, I know we're going to go into that later, but that's the fight I have my eye on the most. Like, but overall, it's a pretty good card for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Like you just said, I've got that fight. I've got that fight circled as the potential fight of the night.
Same.
So let's get into the main card right off the bat. We've got Marvin Vettori, one of your favorite fighters, versus Roman Dolidze. How does that one shake out for you?
Do you know what? I feel like, obviously, Dolidze's kind of risen up very, very quickly. He had a good win against Hermansson in his last fight. But and you know me, I rip on Vettori a lot. But if I'm just going to be completely real here, I do fancy him in this fight, because we don't know how good Dolidze is yet. He does throw with like really, really bad. Like he when he hits you, like you definitely feel it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Vettori's head is made out of granite. Like he has a blockhead. Like he's really hard to put away. Like Paulo Costa throwing him with bombs. Robert Whittaker was piecing him up, couldn't even put him down. Izzy, as good as he is as a striker, couldn't even put him away. He's really hard to put away, and he's also hard to beat. He's only really lost towards the top guys.
Yes.
He's lost to Izzy, and he's lost to Rob.
Yep.
Like he's like as very basic as one might say he is. He's good at what he does. Like he's really good at what he does, and he's going to be hard to put away. So that being said, I do favor him over this, but if Roman somehow managed to beat him, that right there is gonna make a huge statement. So But
Yeah.
I will probably think Vittori will probably just be a bit too much for him.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go with Roman. I'm putting Marvin on upset alert. I want to see him get KO'd. I want to see him knock out Marvin. Be the first one to do it. I want to see it happen. He throws.
You want to get humbled, basically. You just want to get humbled.
At this point, I'm all in on Marvin getting knocked out. Marvin is really good. I mean, we can say whatever we want about the guy. He's lost to the two best in his weight class, and that's it. But maybe it's time for a guy who's a little bit younger to get in there and start making a real name for himself. And knocking out Marvin Vittori puts you right in that conversation. So,
and also middleweight needs it. It's very top heavy.
Right.
There isn't anyone else apart from Pereira, Izzy, and Rob really that's out there right now who's like exciting. Feel like I want to see them fight for the belt.
And that's pretty much my thing right there. Is if Roman wins this, we've got a new guy, we got a new contender right at the top, and that's somebody that you could, start to build. So next fight on the card, Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill. Casey is the favorite slightly. She's 9-0. Who do you have winning this fight?
I do have Casey O'Neill in this fight. She's mean. When you see it out there, she puts it on people. Like she really puts it on people. And again, like I was said about the previous fight, flyweight is pretty much open season now. Like new champ. I know that obviously Valentina and Grasso are going to rematch, but that whole division is open season, and they need new people in there. And Casey looks good. Casey looks really good, and also she talks well. Like she kind of has everything. Like,
she's definitely the whole package.
The whole package, but then again, Jennifer Maia's been there and done it.
Yeah, I mean, she's fought for the title. She fought the Bullet.
Yeah, and has gone on a really, really good run.
Yeah.
But I do feel like she's also, I think, 34 or 35. So
yeah, she's
kind of like reaching towards the end. Like not obviously towards the end, but like you kind of feel like, this fight just kind of feels like a setup for obviously Casey O'Neill to go out there and be like, I'm here now. I want to push them. So
and to piggyback off of what you said, I mean, she's won 9 straight and she's won 4 straight in the UFC. Casey, that is. She's pretty well rounded. I mean, she's good with the takedowns. She's pretty good on the feet. She's going to have a reach advantage. She's going to have a little bit of a height advantage. I think she gets her out of there maybe in the second round. I think Casey, I'm getting behind her. Like you said, she's got a great look. She's good with the mic, and her skills are only getting better in the ring. I've got Casey winning also. All right, next fight, Gunnar Nelson versus Barberena. How do you got it?
2 ways. If this fight becomes a brawl, Barberena wins because he literally thrives in that. He thrives in chaos. He thrives in gonna stand next to you in the pocket, trading off. He thrives in that, as we've seen in some of his recent fights. But if it becomes a MMA, like a proper MMA bout, I do favor Gunnar because I do feel Gunnar is better technically all round. Yep. But then Barberena has power, and that can change the fight at any point.
Right.
But that being said, I do feel like, and also Gunnar Nelson also enjoys fighting over here. Like this has become like a second home of his. Whenever there's a card here, he's normally on it, and he's kind of used to that.
Yeah.
So he's gonna feel like this is like his home. Like the fans are gonna be more room for him and all that stuff. I know that is doesn't matter what happens inside. But that being said, I do feel like Gunnar's probably gonna win it over 3 rounds.
I'm gonna go with Gunnar also. Gunnar is 1-2 in his last 3 fights, but his 2 losses are to the reigning champion Leon Edwards and to Gilbert Burns. The guys fought killers. He fought them both in the same year. Insane.
No shame in that.
The guy is a killer himself. He's coming off a unanimous decision. Barberena, like you said, he wants to make it dirty. He wants to get nasty in there. If Nelson can weather some of that, I think he's got the win. Like you said, he's better overall. So Barberena's got to catch him something and make it stick, and that's the best way for him to win that fight. Next fight on the card is the one that we've been talking about, potentially the fight of the night. Big
Violence.
time, big time.
Violence.
Hands are going to be flying. Justin Gaethje, he's just, what can you say about the guy? He personifies violence. Fiziev is also right there in his own element, 12-1. He's just really building up his career right now. This is the biggest fight for him. He just came off the win against RDA. He's coming into a fight with Justin Gaethje. You're literally a step away from being in that contender championship area. Who do you have winning this one?
You're probably not going to like me for this, but I feel like Rafa is going to make a statement, a huge one.
Oh yeah.
The reason why I think this is because most of the fight is probably going to play out on the feet, and if I'm looking about skill-wise, like technically, Fiziev is a wizard kickboxer. Like, if you're looking at it in terms of like skill for skill, Rafa is better than Gaethje. And I kind of feel like he's probably gonna set up like a few traps, and he's gonna catch Justin with something. Don't obviously get me wrong, Justin's very much live in this, and I feel like with him, he's gonna have to throw leg kicks. He's gonna have to like stop Fiziev trying to like moving around and switching stances and throwing things. He has to go and slow him down. He should also wrestle. I feel like this is the fight where he has to use his wrestling, which we know he probably won't.
Doesn't like it. Doesn't like doing it, man. I don't know.
Doesn't like doing it at all. And he's more than capable of actually catching Fiziev, because in Fiziev's first fight when he came over towards the UFC, he lost. He literally got knocked out. He basically got TKO'd. Yeah. But I do have a funny feeling that this fight is going to be the start where we see the likes of Justin, Poirier, all the people who've been at the top for a long time, all these new guys. So like we've got like Fiziev, we've got Gamrot, we've got Arman, all these people who like on rising up now. I feel like they're gonna start to shift over now, and Rafa's good, bro. Like he is. I've been a fan of him for a while, and I just feel like he's gonna be a bit too skilled for him.
Okay. Gaethje's actually the underdog coming into it, so I think you're right on with what you're saying there. This is Justin's first fight since he got beat by Charles. Rafa's coming in off that big win against RDA. Where it breaks down is, can Justin catch him? Can he put the hurt on him? Can he slow him down with body shots? Can he slow that movement, the legs, the feet? Can he slow him down enough with body shots or leg kicks or things like that to give himself that standing target that he needs? Because if he can wind up and he can hit you, he can knock you out, and that's the way he wins now. He doesn't want to wrestle. He doesn't want to fight like that anymore. It's all or nothing, and that's the kind of thing right now where if Fiziev gives him that chance, this is fight of the night.
Oh, yeah.
But if he can stay moving and can stay away from the big bombs, he can win this game. He can win this game against Justin, and he can move up and put his name right on the top. This is a very important fight for that division, because Justin could get himself right back into a shot or a contender's fight against Dustin right away. I think the winner should fight Dustin either way. I think that's a good matchup.
Have to.
And then that fight right there is a title eliminator, and that's where you're setting yourself up to be back into the mix. This is a very, very important fight for 155. I'm super excited about this one. I've got it. We both got it as fight of the night right now. You're going with Rafa. I'm going with Justin. I think Justin catches him. I want to see him and Dustin. I just love that because of the name value and just the way those two guys fight.
Yeah.
Let's get into the big one. This is Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman 3. This one's for all the marbles, man. This is the biggest fight we can get at 170 right now. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking Usman. I'm taking him because I still believe he's the better fighter. I believe he's the most complete fighter at 170. If you take away one moment from that fight, the rest are all highlights of Kamaru winning that fight. If you watch the corner of Leon Edwards, you don't give that kind of speech if your fighter's 2 rounds to 2 rounds. You don't give that kind of speech. You don't make those statements that he's bullying you. You don't make those statements if it's a close fight. Leon got dominated in the first fight, and he set up the best kick of all time. Tell me why you're going to have Leon Edwards winning this fight. Because I know where you're headed. So you tell me why Leon's going to win.
Do you know what? I've been thinking about this more so this week, more than I have when I knew when we knew that this fight was coming. If you're going if you kind of look at both fights, most people would say Usman is going to win, and to be honest, you should.
Yeah.
Everything shows that Usman is better than him, but a knockout like that can change you. My only question is what kind of Kamaru do we see post basic KO? It wasn't as if he kind of got rocked and he got hit by shots and the ref had to separate them.
Mm-hmm.
One shot, literally headshot, dead, bang, he was out cold.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to you? I watched the interview with him on the Pivot the other day, and his mindset is crazy. He's like, do you know what? It happened. I took a nap for about 20 minutes. Yeah. It's fine. I already know that I'm better than him. I can beat him, and that shows what kind of champion mentality that he has.
Yes.
But, and I'm not doing this because homegrown bias or anything, believe it or not. But when you kind of win like that and you become the champion, that kind of changes you in a way. And I feel like obviously Liam kind of thought before, I could beat Usman. I could beat him. Now he knows that he can.
Okay.
And he even said in the second fight he gassed out because it was in Utah
it was Denver, maybe elevation in Denver, maybe
Salt Lake City.
It was one of those two. It was either Colorado or Salt Lake City.
Yeah, he said because it was high altitude over there, he gassed out after 2 rounds. And in the first round, he looked good. He basically obviously took him down. And he said something very interesting that their plan was to take Usman down and take his back, because even though he's a really good wrestler, he's not good at BJJ, which I found is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
My thing is if, and this is a big if that's basically the case, and obviously in this fight, Leon can go for 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
If he's able to at least keep Usman at bay, at least threaten on the ground, because he knows he's better on the feet and he doesn't have to worry about being taken down, being drowned, being tired, have to worry about the takedown, because that's when Usman was beating him up, because he was so worried about being taken down. It's like Merab against Jan.
Yeah.
And I just kind of have a sneaky feeling that because it is back home, because it is the main event, and because all of how his life's changed since then, and just because of him as a fighter, and just in terms of what he kind of has to offer, I do have a feeling that Leon might be able to stuff enough takedowns and keep it on the feet enough where he can actually have his way, because he knows now I can hurt you.
Yeah.
He knows I can put you out at any moment there. And I just have a feeling that, again, this is probably just a little bit years in my head, and a part of me just being, I just want Leon to win because I'm a big fan of him.
Right.
But I just have a feeling that for some reason Leon might be able to set something up again to put him away. Okay. And it might be earlier. But then again, that being said, if Usman just literally steamrolls him over 5 rounds, I won't be shocked at all. But I just have a feeling that somehow Leon is going to be able to pull it off again.
All right. There you have it, everybody. He's taking Leon. I'm taking Kamar. Oh, man. Big fight this weekend. Big fight.
Huge fight.
AJ, we had another good episode, man. We're coming up on a lot. We're going to get our fight picks posted on Instagram and Twitter. We've got a lot coming at us this weekend. Big episode for us next weekend. Recap and going forward, the UFC does not sleep.
Versus Sanhagen, bro.
Gosh.
We're here.
I mean, another just banger of a fight. Guys, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, or subscribe to us on YouTube. We're out there. We are talking. We're responding. We're posting. Hook us up with a sub. We appreciate it. AJ, I will talk to you later, man. Enjoy the fights.
Take care, man. Peace out.